Yo, what up? We are back with another Ski's Opinion. This is the show about everything, nothing at all. With your grace as a humble host, Ski. So, we are back. Um, it's been a lot going on over. Ow, this chair is crazy. Ain't made one noise all day until I get on the camera. But anyway, um, it's a lot been going on this week and weekend, so I shall say. Uh, First thing I think I want to tap into today is I'm gonna say first thing I want to tap into will be my man Ray J, Mr. Ray J. You guys. So over the weekend, you guys, everybody probably heard, of Ray J being arrested. I don't know why I laughed at that, chuckled at that, but it's just always something with this dude. So it's kind of funny to me. I'm just keep it real. But anyway, so the audio and I guess it's a video as well. I haven't seen the video, but I've heard the audio. Ray J arguing back and forth with his ex-wife, mother of his kids, what's her name, Princess Love, and I guess her cousin and her cousin's husband get into an altercation. They going back and forth. Ray J screamed out something about, actually letting off, you know what I'm saying? And I'm assuming the cousin's husband or whatever it was, he tried to rush Ray J or whatever. That's how it sounded on the video. But anyway, I just want to touch a little bit on this with Ray. Like, it sounds kind of stupid, I think it has to do with the relationships that he's carrying on with different females, and this woman acting unbothered, but really is really very bothered by what's going on with him, and the way he's carrying on with his life when that shouldn't matter because you guys are not together, right? But for some reason, Princess Love cares about what Ray J is doing. She cares about what's going on with the brother. And I mean, they've been together for years or whatever, but I think she did something that was very spiteful, if you ask me, and very, I can't say evil, but damaging, very damaging to this man. And he played into it, which we all know that Ray J constantly playing into the games, with the internet or whatever. Like he said, I guess himself, like, he don't get no, traction on stuff that he do that's positive, but anything that he put out negative, he get rotation on it. And I mean, everybody knows that, negativity, sells headlines, So anything that's negative is gonna come off, pretty good, you could say. In the media, that's gonna sell. That's gonna get a bunch of clicks. When people see negativity, it's like watching a train crash. You wanna look away, but you can't. You just stuck there froze, within what's going on. But so she pulled that, with him, and he went live, which I'm gonna say was kind of dumb himself, but he's saying this is the way that he can, show from his angle what was going on because everybody else would record. And this is what I'm saying, like you could hear her on the thing. You pulled a gun on us, you pulled a gun on us. And he's like, I didn't pull, a gun. Like, yes, you did, you waved the gun. He's like, why you waving the kids up? So it sounds like a bunch of mess, but it sounds like some bullshit to make a case for something that she's trying to get. I think it's that she's trying to get more money. She's been petty because she's hurt. She's she's still in love with this man. We're gonna call a spade a spade. She's still in love with Ray, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. But she did something that was very dangerous and very damaging to this man's character. Like, you put him on her as if he pulled a gun out on you and his kids are dead, but him being on live and, recording, talking about how he'll shoot, the ish out of this man kind of plays into what she's saying, but nobody seen him point a gun at her. So, but this is the thing that's going to be, put out there. This is how they're going to paint the picture, to make her case stronger so she can get sole custody and way more in child support and money from him, because she's really, she always trying to say she's full-time mom, she's doing everything on her own and this and that. I mean, besides whatever he said, she got the nail bar. I don't know where Princess Love living, but I'm quite sure it's in LA somewhere in a pretty nice affluent neighborhood that maybe her nail bar probably won't cover. So I'm saying whatever the deal is with her and Ray J as far as spousal support and child support may have something to do with her lifestyle. She's not doing nothing that's super big right now that's generating a whole lot of money that's making, it seem as if she don't need him. But that's why I think this thing was set up to F him over. So she can get more, she want more money, right? And she's being spiteful, like I said, but that was really trifling, I would say, of her, and very stupid of him. You are an idiot, Reggie. I have to say that. You gotta call it, like I said, a spade, a spade. You are the dumbest, and in that situation, the weakest link. You played right into their hands, and you didn't need to. So we'll see what that's gonna go, you guys, because that's probably gonna open up a whole series of entertaining, damaging, though I'm gonna say, part is the part that I'm gonna say is gonna play on their family, like their immediate family nucleus, not Brandy and everybody else, but Ray J, Princess, and those kids. But it's gonna be entertaining for everybody else, so we shall see. Next thing I want to speak on, I want to jump right into this because I know that this story has been out for a while. So again, I'll say I'm late to the party, but I don't really think so because I think that the more I thought about this, and I wasn't going to speak on it because it's been going on for so long, but I'm like, well, this is a teachable moment, right? And that would be, the remarks that our brother Joel Santana made on a podcast with some other brother. And even the brother was trying to tell him, like, no, like was trying to save him, but I don't know if they was when they released the footage. So if you was really trying to save him, y'all wouldn't have released that footage. With the brother saying that you don't really need to know how to read. So you kind of basically telling kids don't read, right? You know what that sounds like to me? Something that somebody would say who don't know how to read. It's just the truth. Doesn't matter, you guys. That's something that people say who can't read. You don't really know how to read, or they've been waiting for something like that. Like, how wouldn't you? Like, everything that's been said about this situation, I'm not going to go right back into it. I'm not going to dwell into it, but I'm just going to say that that was something that only a person who is illiterate would say and actually mean it. I mean, he tried to even prove his point. He like, are you crazy? They got apps you could put that into. Like, I mean, you saying that with confidence, not knowing how to read. You can obtain information. Other words, you saying that because you can't read, brother. And because you didn't want to learn how to do it. I mean, people can say it's laziness. I'm going to say it's a little bit of laziness. But it also has to do with that this was too hard for me. And I don't see what it's going to do for, or what it's doing for me, because you don't want to try. to even learn it. You know what I'm saying? But you can learn how to read, man. Like you said, you can obtain knowledge in a lot of different ways. But I mean, reading is one of the number one ways that you obtain it. So never speak to say, you don't need to read. It's the same thing with they saying with writing, handwriting. Handwriting, writing things, signing for things, and using paper, putting pen to paper, right? It takes eye-hand coordination, right? That's working a part of the brain that's not probably being used unless you're doing that. And that part of the brain triggers something else, right? That would fourth brain intellect, right? It brings more of an understanding when you reading. If you writing it and you're reading, when you're reading something, when you write it out, it's better. You can better understand that. To write it out and see as you're reading it or it's being explained. Just like when they're breaking words down in syllables. They write it out how it sounds in the syllables, and that's how you learn words. But that's a part of the brain that's being used that's probably wouldn't be used if you didn't do that. So think about that. If you're not using that part of the brain, if you don't use it, what's the saying? You lose it, right? But that's just another way to dumb down society, man. To say you don't have to read. You can listen to a book. Like, come on, man. That's all fine and dandy, right? I listen to audiobooks, but I also read. I read books because I like to work that muscle or that part of the brain because it opens up my imagination and my brain into thinking about other things that I could create. I create these shows, I don't write them out all the way, but I have an outline of what I want to talk about or how I'm going to talk about it. I put it down on a piece of paper so I know how to stay on task and of what I'm trying to do while I'm doing this episode, right? Or this show. And the rest of it you can improv, I can bring in, but just pulling off of what I have is like a thesaurus, so that's giving me subject matter. I can always look back to that note that I wrote down about this subject, just like right now I wrote this down, Joel Santana's statement about reading, right? If I couldn't read, I couldn't write that, y'all. How I'm gonna write something that I don't understand? Well, yeah, you can go see, but somebody else will have to write that for you and tell you that's what it means, because you can't read. Again, you don't need to know how to read. Sounds like something somebody would say who doesn't know how to read. And that's all I really got to say about that. I had to speak my piece on that because even though it's a old subject and everybody's been talking about it, but I just think I wanted to give my opinion on that because I think that I may be able to help somebody, draw them into wanting to learn how to read and write and do things in that fashion. You teach, you use ignorance, right, to teach. So that's what I'm doing. That was an ignorant statement coming from someone I think that is illiterate. He probably couldn't read a receipt. He probably, he probably couldn't read Cat in the Hat. And now you're doing this rhyme. He should be good at that because he can rap. So like I'm not saying you don't have like he even come into the common sense thing. And I'm gonna give you that. I like common sense too, but I think that you should have both. I think it's good to have both common sense and book sense, right? Because both go hand in hand. I think that having book sense, knowing how to read and understand, the written language is helpful to you paying attention to things that's around you. You obtain those things through reading, through, books that speak on that, self-help books and all of that type of stuff, or the books that teach you how, to do things to better you, to take steps to keep yourself in, you know, uh, a proper, safe and amenable pace, right? So I think you need both common sense and book sense, right? Book smart and street smart. So, but I just didn't like that he was telling the youth, and I say he was telling you because he's talking about by the time they in ninth grade and 10th grade they should be learning about financial freedom. And I believe in that. I agree with that. They should, but they also should know how to read, man, so that they can maintain their financial literacy, right? And then, like as literacy, you have to read that too. Like it just didn't make. That's what I said. It was something that only a literate person would say and try to make sense out of it. So, like I said, that's all I wanted to speak on. I just had to, give my 2 cents on it. I got next thing I'm gonna speak on is Max B. You know, getting roped into something by a guy who I'm gonna say should know better, right? He's the pinnacle of New York hip hop. So, for one, what I heard the excuse of I don't have any records. How you don't have any records for Max B? And then for two, if you didn't have any records before the show, you knew you was doing the show with Max B. Why wouldn't you go get any records? I think it was on purpose for him to do that. That was, that's all I had. So you threw out the song with him dissing Jimmy for something that was super old and long ago, right? He got a lot of things that you could have brought. Like a lot of people saying that the song is not even something that everybody really jacked. That wasn't even one of his biggest songs when he dissing Jimmy with the, Chrissy thing and all that's spurred when they was going through that, right? But I think that he tried to get some clout off playing the diss song and Max B going off singing the song, and flex up in that beat, like to start something that's goofy. That, I think the brother is trying to ignore. He's trying to move past and do something different, right? Funk Flex, I'ma say this with all due respect. That was some sucker-ish, yo. But I gotta be honest and say, that's what you do. You do a lot of sucker-ish, man. For no reason, brother. No reason. Other than to make yourself stay here or relevant or whatever. You don't care about anybody or anything. You have no integrity. I'm gonna say that. As much of a legend and pioneer that you are, with your tunnel thing, your mixtapes, you've been on Hot 97 for 55 years, stuff. No, but I'm saying, you are a legend, but you are elder statesman as well. You should know better, brother. You've been here since Biggie and them was out, when Pac and them was popping, right? And you was spraying a lot of BS on him. Like I said, you've been doing sucker-ish forever, decades, yo. But I'm gonna say something that I heard one of my brothers say, and I'm gonna give a shout out to the brother because I do check out your show, man. Keep doing what you're doing. But I really appreciate your take on things. And that will be Wayne. I do it myself, podcast, on YouTube. You gotta follow, subscribe, click into what he's doing. He got some really dope takes on what's going on in hip hop and the entertainment world and just the world, period, right? But he said, it may be time for you to step aside, brother, and usher in a new group of guys and DJs to take over. Like you help usher enough out the door. I think that it's your time. And before they do it to you, I think the best way that you're gonna look flex because they're gonna super clown you, brother, if they fire you and walk you out that door. But if you do it yourself, you get the last laugh on everybody because everybody's waiting for them to walk you out of that door. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's coming. I don't know how you don't see the painting and the writing on the wall. They getting rid of everybody from your era that was there with you when you started out. Someone before you, someone came after you. They getting rid of them. Walk away, brother. Walk away before they drag you away. That's all I gotta say on that. Next subject is T-Pain. Did anybody see T-Pain's T-Pain's did anybody see T-Pain's Club Shay Shay interview? Yeah. I think it was dope. You know, T-Pain talked about a lot of stuff that I think, you know, a lot of people probably even forgot about. I'm gonna say the brother is a legend in his own right as well. You know, they want to give him flack for the auto-tune thing and, you know, and all that. The brother was a genius, or is a genius, I would say, right? But he has some interesting stories and tales to tell, you know. And one of the things that, you know, kind of caught traction that I seen, and I don't think he got that traction that I think it would have warranted a few years ago when the brother he's talking about was a little bit more relevant. I don't think he understand or nobody else understand that his relevancy is running out. And that's DJ Khaled. That's what I'm speaking on, you guys. He said, F DJ Khaled. He said DJ Khaled went ghost on him when things started falling for him. Even though he helped this brother, you know, propel himself in hip hop. He done some of his biggest songs with him. And right now to this day, I think T-Pain still, well, now he sold his catalog, but he probably would still collect the checks off that, you know. They gave him a crazy bag for his catalog, so I'm assuming he was making M's still every year, but they just gave him a crazy bag. But anyway, he said, F DJ Khaled, man. He said, the one who always saying, you my brother, you my brother. That's what it seemed like. I think it hurt him because he thought that him and Khaled really had a friendship. He didn't know it was just hip hop, you know, or it was business. So like he said, he would rather know up front what it is so he'll know how to carry it, right? And I'm gonna agree with him. I'm gonna agree. I have to say that I like my poison that way as well. You know, give it to me up front. Don't sugarcoat it, you know what I'm saying? Don't water it down, don't do that. Give it to me up front, boom, you know? And then I know how to play it, right? But when you run that family, brother, and all that type of stuff, it confuses things, you know? But I think that's a lesson that has been taught or learned over the years, over and over. It's one of those things that's like what they call insanity, right? You know, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you know, expecting different results. That's how that is. Because I don't know how many times we've been shown that, you know, that the person who he overly your brother and this and that, you know, Pay the Fool showed you that with Cam character. Outpost showed you that in real life. Yeah, brother, my man, brother. And you knew he was a snake. You know what I'm saying? And he already told you he was when it was all said and done. So you've seen that and you know somebody in the hood or in your neighborhood or your area or whatever, your borough and all that, that's like that. So we've been shown that, you know what I'm saying, example a lot. And that needs to stop, bro. It really do. We really need to stop falling for that, you know. How I'm your brother and you don't even know me, bro, we just met. Like, get the Dobie first, then pull that BS, you know. Be a little bit more slick about how you doing what you're doing, but they be out front with it. Yeah, me and you. I know several dudes like that. And I just laugh. Over the years I had to learn how to deal with people like that. And I think everybody do, and that's how you navigate the world. But you're going to have those people all the time. But it just, it seemed funny to me because the act that Khaled put on is that it is that. It's a brotherhood. It's this and that with these people, but it's really not. And to be honest, with his over the top personality and the way he talk and the way he tries to, he's promoting it, he's blessed, but it seems fake. Look at him be looking and moving like you know, it's all an act. Yeah, we the back, and this and that. But the dude, you know, it's all the character. It's all BS, right? So we gotta be more mindful of things like that, in the past. So I just say I think that people pay attention to that part of the interview with T Pain. Um, like I said, they did do clips and put it out there, but I don't think it's catching the traction that it should. Like some years back, people would have cared a little bit more. People don't really care that much, so watch out, Khaled. I think your time is running out. I think a lot of y'all time is running out. Like I even spoke on Drake and Kendrick and J Cole and all those groups, Wale's and all those guys, right? That group was like the last group who was kind of actually really rapping still. I don't say that. Hey, son, I don't want to say that, but that's the last mega star group I'm gonna say, because right now it's not. I haven't seen a real mega star right now. Because it's a lot of youngins out there who actually get into it, and they're making some really good music too. There's a lot of BS out there as well, but it's a lot of good music out there. So I'm not gonna say the last really spitters, because I've been surprised lately about a lot of things that I've been catching out here, which is good for the culture. But like I said, daytime is running out. Drake is done. I think Kendrick put the nail in the coffin on that. Um, J. Cole is done. I think he really, he put the nail on his own coffin with the apology and bowing out. You didn't even have to apologize and say he should have just not said no more response, right? But to apologize and do all that, I think that killed him as well. Kendrick, I said it when it was going on, like that was his biggest moment, but I said, I don't even think it's gonna be a year after this. Nobody's gonna be talking about Kendrick. Nobody's gonna care like this. It was an impact for the moment. Yeah, he killed Drake. I believe he won the battle. But I'm gonna say that who's talking about Kendrick now? And I think he knew it. He threw that album out. He got his thing off. I think he knew it was over with after the beef with Drake. After he was crowned and he won, he done the Super Bowl, all that. What are we talking about? I haven't heard nothing about Kendrick like I was hearing about him about a year ago. The greatest rapper. What are we talking about? I mean, put that in the comments, you guys, and tell me what conversations are they having about Kendrick right now today. And he just destroyed the biggest rapper in the world at this time, which is Drake, in a battle. He's supposed to be that new dude. Anything and everything that he's dropping supposed to, even GNX, Grand National, that didn't even go like a Drake album would. So that's what I'm saying. If you taking the throne and you took over, why not? Everybody like, no, I'm telling you this. People gonna still. No, I was telling them, it's not. He's not that artist. He's not the. I'm not gonna say he's a generational artist. He's a generational artist, but he's not the artist to be at the forefront. That's not how the industry is set up. It's not set up for a person like Kendrick to be the man, because the masses is not listening to that. It's too much positivity that I have nothing against Metro. I think he's a great rapper. I think um, during this beef, he was a little overly exaggerated about how good I would say that he is, right? So during this beef, it made me think about uh, Kendrick. Like I mean, he might be being overhyped at this point, right? Not that taking nothing away from his skill, but I think they was overhyping it, right? Because I didn't see staying power, and I'm challenging any one of you guys out here to prove me wrong and tell me what important or uh, topics do you hear Kendrick name in now? Less than a year, you guys after one of the biggest rap beats in the world, and he overtook Drake. And Drake still came out in between that with the party thing with a #1 record. That probably did bigger numbers. I don't know how. I would have to check to see SoundScan to see what party and him and Party album did over GNX. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold more. That's what I'm saying. He was never that. He was never that type of artist to be the head. He's raw. Everybody get that. He can come out with a verse every now and then that can shock your head. Like, oh, we know he can rap, but I don't think the star power is there. And I don't think it ever have been for him. Because that's not the industry. That's not the wave. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. But hit the comments, you guys. Like I said, I just prove me wrong. I want to hear what prolific conversations is his name in, what circles is his name in, or are we even speaking or thinking of him at this point? No, they're talking about NBA YoungBoy. But next thing I want to get into, what I would say is, so I just caught some snippets of it because I couldn't sit there and watch the whole thing. I know that the entire interview is going to be live, so I wasn't going to sit through the whole thing, but I did catch some parts and points to see what he was talking about, or just get the basis of what the interview was about. So we all know Cam Newton has had just dropped interview with Jussie Smollett, Empire. What's his name on Empire? Jamal. Jamal. The lion that. No, let me stop. But anyway, Jussie Smollett, he's on there, and I don't know. I mean, reading some of the comments and some of the things that's been said from this interview, right? And like I said, I knew that it was gonna be a bunch of lies, like, cause he his brain, he feel like he been vindicated because they overturned the conviction, but your whole entire career has been tarnished and everything. Like, they don't even, you're such a liability, right, for anybody from you doing that, and you still won't own up to it, which makes you look stupid. But I don't know what people expected. The dude came out on stage and said, "I'm gay Tupac." He done gave Tupac. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Tupac ain't get no big stage, no attack on him. Tupac wasn't gay. Like, oh, you the gay Tupac. Okay, so you saying he's straight. Okay, yeah, I get that part. But you ain't did nothing until you ain't shot nobody. You ain't no activist. You ain't spoke up for nobody other than the gays. And that was more so for yourself, But you wasn't speaking for people just, out of sheer passion and conviction. Wasn't what is gonna make you look like. That's what you was. But I don't understand, how people thought he was gonna come out here and be humble. He can't. The dude said, Why should I be? Which shows, the arrogance, the he doesn't feel guilty, right? About it. He doesn't see what he done wrong. He doesn't see um, how he ruined not just his career, but the end of that show as well. He was on the biggest show on television, man. And you had them have to alter their thing. They made it work, but that show ended on a note that it probably shouldn't have ended on. The story should have been told better, but I think you alter things, within that. I think other situations, that wasn't working out or whatever, to hurt things. But I knew he wasn't going to tell the truth. I knew he wasn't going to be humble. I knew that he couldn't, I knew that he couldn't tell the truth. So I just knew it was a bunch of BS. And then he's super corny. You see him on there. Yeah. Dude, get your week out of here. But yeah, I see that, man, and I don't know. Like, and then Cam, you with your situation right now, I don't know if after Corey just got through talking about the backdooria side of the game with you, and then you go bring on Mr. Sweet Jaw. And y'all sitting back there going back and forth on there looking very sus, man. Looking very sus. You asking the questions about, do you feel like, this group of people that's, LGBTQ get a better look? Like, you asking those questions. Why? Do you want to come out, or are you scared to come out? You want to know how you're going to be perceived if you do come out? But I just think it's very questionable and very very, let's say, inconvenient, but very weird that after all of this come out with whatever you was doing with that sign had something to do with the, uh, backdooria side of the game, and then you bring this brother on, and what message is you giving out? I just want to know, like, what message is he giving out for that? But that interview is gonna cause a bit of a stir on certain things and rehash things that people probably pretty much forgot about and has been done with, that he's bringing back up now. And I think it's because the guy trying to bring out music or something like that. Nobody's denying that he could sing. I'm not even denying that he was a good actor. I think that he did a bad acting job with staging his attack. You wouldn't believe that, he acted as good as he did on Empire, the way that he acted on the street with the noose around his neck and all that. But anyway, people, I would say, just be careful what you wish for. Like, be grateful and thankful for the stuff that you do have. Like, look at that situation. Greed, destroyed something that was very prosperous for him, and probably, I don't know how many people who worked for him. And you doing what you did, making that decision to do what you did, destroyed not only you, but so many others at that time. So, just be thankful, man, and grateful for what you have. You was in a great spot, and he did something that just, it destroyed his situation. So I'm going to end it on that note. That is all I have for the day, you guys. In Ski's opinion. on the show that is about everything and nothing at all. I ask you people to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell for notification to catch the next episodes. And we are